Hi, I'm Halle and Halle Eavelyn. I'm the co-founder of Spirit Quest Tours along with Greg Roach. It's 6 o'clock. We're going to be starting in just a couple minutes. I want to give everybody a chance to get here. If you are joining us this evening on live stream, this is our second live stream, so we're a little bit nervous about it, so please bear with us. I think Greg put the call information up on the chat window. Greg, is that correct? On Facebook. So he's also going to put it in the live stream chat window? No. Okay. So if you're joining us on the phone, if you're joining us on live stream, you may want a phone backup tonight, which is 218-936-4700. So if you're live from 6 to 7 this evening with us, then it's 218-936-4700, and then you would just enter the conference code, access code 620192, 620192, and then a pound after that. So if for some reason we do lose the live stream feed, we'll still have the call information. If you're joining us on Facebook tonight, boy, is this a brave new world. You can go to facebook.com and just enter Spirit Quest Tours. If you're a fan of ours on Spirit Quest Tours, then you can actually watch the live stream feed live. Last time we had some technical difficulties that prevented us from showing live stream live, but we were able to upload the YouTube video afterwards. Tonight we do not expect to have these problems, which is very exciting. So we've been running video tests for hours and hours to make sure that we didn't have any problems. So let's see, it is just after 6, and I think we are going to go ahead and get started. So hopefully everything is working properly. I know that it's working on our phone call. Welcome to everybody who is here on the phone. We're so excited to have you for our Eat, Pray, Love evening in Bali. And I know if you're watching on the live stream right now, you can see it says an evening in Bali. That's a bit of an exaggeration. We'll be spending a little less than an hour in Bali this evening, including Q&A. And if you are calling in on the phone and you can join us on live stream, again, it's facebook.com, and then just go to the Spirit Quest Tours, and I believe on the left side of the screen is a link to the live stream feed, or else you can go to livestream.com/spiritquest, which is our channel, and we should be streaming live right now. And the reason I want to suggest that you do that is we're going to have beautiful pictures tonight, so I'm very excited. So we're going to get started right now. Again, as I said, I'm Halle Eavelyn. I'm the co-founder, along with Greg Roach, of Spirit Quest Tours. We are a spiritual travel company, a luxury spiritual travel company specifically. And tonight we're going to be talking all about the Eat, Pray, Love tour to Bali. So let's get started. So what is Spirit Quest Tours? Well, you can see on the screen we lead tours to share our love for the world, its cultures, and the experiences that they offer. And that's absolutely true. When you travel, Mark Twain, this is our favorite quote, it's up all over the website. Mark Twain said that, travel was fatal to ignorance and small-mindedness. He said you cannot, basically the idea is you cannot rest in your still small corner of the world and grow. Once you've traveled, you really have to see the whole world. So we truly believe in that. Get out there, learn the new culture, learn the new experience, and a lot of people have done that through Spirit Quest Tours, and their experiences have been incredible. We facilitate spiritual transformation through pilgrimage and sacred travel, and pilgrimage has really, boy, it is expanded, and when we are on a Spirit Quest Tours, it is expanded in many regards. We have pilgrimage, we have spa-grimmage, we have shop-grimmage. So we're really here to experience every aspect of the culture, the touristy bits and also the special sacred bits that the normal tourists don't get to see. And of course we do it because we love it. This next screen, if you're on our live stream, is just some beautiful pictures of locations that we've gone to all over the world. This year's Spirit Quests, in addition to Bali, include 2012 The Dawning, which is our Egypt tour in December for the planetary alignments around 12-12-12 and 12-21. So that's going to be off the hook. And China, Bhutan, We're going to be doing a food tour of Madrid. We hope to have the interest page up for that pretty quickly. And we do some eco safaris, gorgeous eco safaris to South Africa in partnership with the Earth Organization. We're going to be adding India. There's just a lot going on, so we hope that you'll join us for more than one tour. Now, how did Eat, Pray, Love come about? It's such a great story. We were doing tours to Bali, and I was reading Eat, Pray, Love, and I thought, you know, I bet some of the people who go on our tours would be really interested in experiencing the people and the characters and the wonderful, you know, just culture that Liz Gilbert brought to life in Eat, Pray, Love. And I told that to Greg, and he said, that is the stupidest idea that I ever heard. I said, okay. And then we started planning the first Eat, Pray, Love trip, and it was a success. And then, like, within 2 years, the movie came out, and okay, say what you will about the movie, it was very good for us because, let's see, it got us in Time Magazine and in USA Today and Good Morning America and the London Guardian and the Sydney Herald. I mean, it was just crazy. We had press from all over the world because of it. And it has become our most popular tour. And my favorite thing is that now Greg says it's the best idea I ever had. So that's my Eat, Pray, Love story. This next picture is me stalking Liz Gilbert. Well, we're smiling and she has her arm around me at this point, but I did have to stalk her for 3 days in order to get this photo. She was in Los Angeles for the weekend, and I was going to everything she was going to. I was on the Bonnie Hunt show. It was awesome. And this picture is taken in a Costco. So this is Liz's and my Costco picture. Poor Angel. She has pictures of thousands of women from all over the world. But I did give her a Spirit Quest Tours card for one of our first Eat, Pray, Love trips, and she was so excited. And she said she had hoped somebody would put this together. So hey, I feel like we got her blessing. It was great. Now, why Bali? I mean, other than Eat, Pray, Love, like, why do you want to get on a plane and go to Bali? First of all, it's stunningly beautiful. It really is. I call it Hawaii on steroids. It has wonderful people. The people there are so friendly, so warm, and so loving towards you. Really, that's something that many people have gone and come back and said, oh, just the people were one of their very favorite parts. Balinese Hinduism is fascinating, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But Bali is not Indonesia, where Bali is Muslim, but Bali is predominantly, like 97% Balinese Hindu. So it's not only a Hindu country, it has its own version of Hinduism, the Balinese Hinduism. And as I said, we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Spirituality is truly integrated in everything. And it's such a great experience to go there and be in a place where it's not about going to church on Sunday. It's not about saying a prayer in the morning or a prayer at night even. It's about living every breath as a prayer. That's how the Balinese live. I mean, they pray 5 times a day in the temples, and it's absolutely stunning. And you'll see pictures later of their flowers and of their ceremonies, and it's just so unique and special, and it really just, it opens your heart in such a beautiful way. So that's one of the main things that people get out of it when they go. And another reason is, hey, it can change your life. And we'll talk about this in a little bit, but you'll see people's lives have just changed tremendously because of this trip. Now, this is an amazing picture that we're showing on screen if you're on live stream. And this is our guide, Huddy. Huddy is such a good friend of ours, and he and Greg are like brothers, separated at birth. And this picture was from the very first day that we met Huddy. He is smiling, he's with his family, he's happy, but he's actually at a cremation ceremony. And that tells you something about how the Balinese differ from our culture in the way that they deal with death. But he was so lovely, and Greg and he struck up a conversation, and they spoke for 15 minutes, and he invited us to join his cremation ceremony, his family's cremation ceremony. And since we were dressed in proper Balinese temple dress, which is one of the things that we'll do with you, is we'll help you get into proper temple dress so that we can go where the tourists don't get to go and experience what it's like to be with the real Balinese. And so we were with Huddy, and Greg had been talking to him for a long time and telling him all about Spirit Quest. And finally he said, "What do you do?" And Huddy said, "Well, I'm a tour guide." And Greg said, "Oh, give me your card." But he was so impressed that Huddy's reaction to, "Hi, I'm a tour person and I work with Spirit Quest," was not, "Oh, that's what I do too." Instead, he was just so humble about it that Greg actually had to ask him, and he waited to be asked. And that's so typical of the Balinese. And Huddy is now just a dear friend. We've known him for several years. He and Yenta lead all of our tours, and they're just amazing. Now, what have people been saying about us? I mean, this is about to be our 5th Eat, Pray, Love tour. What have people been saying? It's very exciting for us because we've gotten wonderful, wonderful feedback. So here's something that has been said. "I wholeheartedly recommend Spirit Quest tours under the capable, spirited, and joyful leadership of Halle and Greg. Having traveled a fair amount, I was somewhat reluctant to join a group tour. I came to realize that traveling with Spirit Quest added dimensions that would have been impossible to achieve on my own." And that is such a gift, that quote, because that's how I felt when I first started doing spiritual travel and when I considered going as part of a group. And for many of our guests, it's the first time they've ever traveled with a group, and they always say that it was just so special and so unique to be on one of our experiences that they would absolutely do it again in a heartbeat. And that just, is really wonderful for us to hear. Another quote, this is again a testimonial, and there's lots more testimonials on the homepage of the Eat, Pray, Love site, so spiritquesttours.com, and you can click on the banner for the Eat, Pray, Love trip, or spiritquesttours.com/eatpraylove5, the number 5 will get you there. And then also on the main spiritquesttours.com page, site, there's a page for testimonials. You can pull down to under About Us for testimonials, and there are a lot of testimonials on the site. So here's another one. "Thank you again for making the Eat, Pray, Love tour such a delightful, inspirational, and life-changing experience." And these are just really heartfelt. I'm just going to give you one more. "Going to Bali with you saved my life, and you can quote me." And we did. And that was from somebody who just was in a really bad place when she came on the trip. And, for a lot of people, we have widows who come on the trip and they're releasing their spouses, their partners recently in some cases, or sometimes many years earlier, and they just haven't been able to get through that grieving process. We've had divorcees, of course with Eat, Pray, Love, you can imagine, and then we've had people who come and they're in healthy couple relationships, or they're single women looking for just to have a great experience, and every one of those people comes back so fulfilled. It's really just such a blessing for us to get to facilitate that. Now we're going to talk a little bit more, now that your appetite is whetted, we're going to talk a little bit more about Bali. And I won't read all of the facts about Bali that we have on the screen, but there are 14,000 islands in Indonesia, and Bali is just one of them. Bali's about the size, it's like a little bit bigger than Oahu and a little bit smaller than the Big Island, just to put it again into Hawaii terms. The average exchange for the rupiah is between 9,000 and 10,000 rupiah, Balinese rupiah, to the dollar. So Greg likes to say you go to the ATM and you get out $100 and it's like you're a millionaire. So that kind of makes you feel good when you go. There are 4 primary languages spoken in Bali: High Balinese, Middle Balinese, Low Balinese, and Indonesian. And the Balinese use 3 different calendars. They use the lunar calendar, they use the Gregorian calendar, and then they also use the Balinese calendar. And the Balinese calendar is fascinating because the first week is 1 day long, the second week is 2 days long, the third week is 3 days long, and so it goes through, I think, 8 weeks. And then it starts over again. And so imagine that overlaid on top of the lunar calendar, on top of the Gregorian calendar, and with a religious ceremony almost every single day of the year. So that kind of puts into perspective for us trying to figure out, is it on my iPhone and my office computer, my date with whatever? They're using 3 calendars and they have all these different religious holidays. So for the Balinese, it becomes much more complex keeping their schedule. So here's a map of the general area. We've got Australia at the bottom. We kind of have the Philippines sort of at the top. And Bali is one of the islands in the middle, so just to give you like an idea of where it is along the area of the coastline. And then we're going over to a Balinese map, and that map is showing just the island itself. And we stay in the southern part of the island. There's a red dot for Denpasar, which is the capital, and we stay a little bit above that in Ubud, which is the heart, like the spiritual heart of Bali. That's where Elizabeth Gilbert stayed when she was writing Eat, Pray, Love, and in fact, we stay at a hotel on the same street in Monkey Forest Road. A nicer hotel, but we stay at a hotel on the same street, and we can take you to what's the name of the hotel that she stayed at? I don't even remember right now, but anyway, we'll take you there. It's right across the street. It has beautiful gardens. And then we also stay down in Nusa Dua, which is right on the beach. And you'll see pictures of our hotels in a little bit if you're watching us on live stream. So what makes Bali special? Well, it's known as the land of 10,000 temples. There are temples everywhere in Bali, not just the temples that we visit, but also special temples for every single village and really in every single home in Bali. In fact, there are probably many more than 10,000 temples in Bali. It's also known as the Island of the Gods. We'll be talking about some of those gods in a minute. Bali has really stunning landscapes, and if you're watching us on live stream, you'll get to see those pictures. There are amazing art, including batik, sculpture, jewelry. It's really beautiful, and you'll see some of the individual artisans and craftspeople that we visit while we're there. It is a very welcoming and friendly modern culture and people, as we talked about earlier, and there is really fascinating spirituality, and it's integrated into every aspect of Balinese life. It's really such a special place to be. It's quite magnificent. So the picture on screen right now is of a Kandi Bentar, or Chandi Bentar, I always say it wrong. And the Chandi Bentar are these, it's the entrance to a temple, and if you're watching on live stream, you can see it's these two beautiful sculpted rock formations, like Scylla and Charybdis, if you're looking at Greek culture. It's kind of like that, actually, because it's these two rocks with a space between them, and you're able to get through, but if the demons try to get through, then they slam shut. So supposedly these rocks will move, and there's a Chandi Bentar in every temple, and this is one of the most beautiful ones that we've seen, but it's actually at the entrance to the Nusa Dua Hotel. And I thought it was a beautiful way to start our journey into Bali. So we're getting in through the Chandi Bentar, but the demons cannot. Now, there are so many temples all over Bali. The picture up on screen right now is of Besaki Temple. And this is gorgeous because it's not just Besaki Temple, it's Besaki Temple in the rain. And depending on when we don't go in rainy season, but sometimes it just rains anyway, kind of like Hawaii. You can tell the natives from the tourists, because the natives are the ones who don't bother going inside when it starts to rain because they know it's going to stop in just a few minutes. But it's just gorgeous every time of year when you go. There are some pictures up on screen right now of Tanalot, which is one of the other temples that we go to. If you've seen pictures of Bali anywhere, you've probably seen pictures of Tanalot, like this one at sunset. These are the cliffs of Uluwatu, and there are also temples down at Uluwatu that we visit. There's temples really all over the island, and we get to go to several of them. The spiritual aspects of this are very important. Here's another just gorgeous picture. The temples a lot of times are built up on the sides of mountains, even most of the way up the side of a couple of the mountains. And so we get to go up there, and then you have these gorgeous vistas, and it's like you're closer to God or something. Here's a picture of me praying along with several other people who are on one of our tours. Now, these are just our guests, and they're all in proper Balinese temple dress, and we've taught them how to pray like the Balinese. So their hands are namaste, and if you can see the picture of me, you can see that I'm wearing these rice grains on my forehead. And this is so beautiful because during the Balinese temple meditations, We wear flowers on our ears. We put flowers behind both of our ears, and then the padanda, or the priest, comes by and he anoints your forehead with holy water that has been, and then he puts holy water infused rice grains, raw rice grains on your forehead, and usually on your temples and your throat as well. And this is so beautiful because the rice grains, Hadi explained this to us, I think the first time Greg ever met him. Greg just fell in love with Hadi, and this is just one of my favorite ones of Hadi's explanations. The rice grains are the seeds of God, and as they dry, they fall during the day, and every time they fall, you're reminded of God. And that is just so beautiful, because it's like the idea of the seeds of God are planted on your third eye, and then as you go through your day, you experience a blossoming of that every time you remember it. I just think that's so beautiful. So here's one of the things I said I was going to talk a little bit about the Balinese gods, and here we are. So this will sound familiar if you know the Hindu gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. In Balinese, they are Brahma, Vishnu, and Siwa. And Brahma, Vishnu, and Siwa are the generator, the operator, and destroyer. This is something else that Hadi explained. Brahma is the creator, or the generator. Vishnu is the preserver, or the operator. And then Siwa is the destroyer. And so generator, operator, destroyer, G-O-D. Isn't that beautiful? I just think that's so delightful. And that's one of the things, one of the lessons that we get to experience when we're in Bali. Now, at our welcome dinner, we have the Italian part, because this is the Eat, Pray, Love trip. We have the Italian part. So this is a woman who has become a dear friend, Nancy. This is at the welcome dinner, and this is me with Nancy wearing another one of my Balinese silk dresses, like the one that I'm wearing this evening. And we do dinner at a 4-star Italian restaurant, so we get to have a total Italian welcome dinner. This is one of the groups chowing down that night and getting to know each other, because it's our first night. And then this, of course, is the tiramisu that you can have for dessert, because what would an Italian dinner be without tiramisu? We visit a lot of special places when we're in Bali. Here's a picture of me at Gulingen, and Gulingen is a special Balinese village. It's really beautiful. That's the back of Yenta, one of our guides as well. And we make our way through the rice paddies to get there. And then, as you can see, this is Gulingen. We get to experience it's just a great day. We see how the Balinese cook. We get to have babi guling, which is the specialty of the island, roast suckling pig. And we also get to see how they make flower offerings. So we get to learn a little bit about Balinese cooking and about the flower offerings that the Balinese make. You can see from this picture there are beautiful rice paddies all over the island. And they're terraced in many cases. And so they're just these gorgeous vistas everywhere. It's just so beautiful. It's like your mind gets to soak up all of not just this nature, but this incredible beauty. One of the places we visit is the monkey forest in Ubud. And the monkey forest in Ubud is reputed to have very nice monkeys in comparison to some of the other ones. We've had lots of, let's just say, very friendly monkeys at the monkey forest. And one of everyone's favorite things to do is we go for massages. We don't just go for massages, though. We go to this gorgeous place, which is on screen if you're looking at us on live stream right now. And it's called Ubud Body Works. And it's where all the people who were on the crew of Eat, Pray, Love of the movie had their massages. This is an afterglow picture. These are several people from our group afterwards, and you can see they're all in bare feet, and they're all just kind of lying around. And it's just because they had such a great massage. And when we go, we usually the group takes up the entire spa, and we just book the spa out for several hours. And so somebody gets the same person that Julia Roberts got when she had her massage. It's very exciting for people. Here's a picture of one of the Balinese gods. I believe this is Hanuman, the monkey god. And this is just a typical example of some of the beautiful sculptures that are done in the temples. Just really beautiful, and you see this stuff all over everywhere. This is a picture of Mount Agung, and we will travel up about halfway up the side of Mount Agung on our way up to one of the temples, and you actually can climb Mount Agung while you're there as an extracurricular activity if you would like. One of our favorite things, and really one of the most beautiful experiences, is getting to interact with just the gorgeous Balinese people. This is a photo of all these just beautiful Balinese women in their temple dress, and they're really very excited to see us in temple dress, excited to see us worshiping with them. And I know there's a lot of churches in America that wouldn't really look happy if foreigners of a different shade of skin walked in the middle of their ceremony, but in Bali it's just, we're really welcomed in every regard. And this is just another gorgeous picture. One time we were at a temple and we happened upon a Balinese wedding. So this is the Balinese bride, and isn't she beautiful with her gorgeous clothes and the gold headdress. And this is just so many of the things that we get to experience while we're there. Of course, one of everyone's favorite things is getting to meet the beloved Ketut Lier. And Ketut is he's a Balian shaman, so he's considered a Balinese healer and doctor. And we go and get readings from him. And we sit on his porch. We sit in the same place that Liz Gilbert sat. We sit in the same place Julia Roberts sat when she was filming the scenes from the movie, which were filmed at Ketut's house. And we sit with him, and he looks at all of our palms and tells us all that we have very lucky and we will live to be 100. And he's really just such a delightful character. It's really a great experience to get to be with him. Of course, we also go to visit YN. This picture is of me with YN and her daughter Tuti. Tuti is now like 16. She has beautiful long hair. And then these are the herbs and the jamu. Jamu is an herbal drink that YN gives you, and it's delicious, made from turmeric juice in this case, so that's why it's orange. But she gives us these beautiful lunches, the vitamin lunch, the best lunch in Bali, as Liz says in the book. And it really is. It's delicious, and being with YN, oh, that woman is an experience not to be missed. So that's one thing that we do, is we go see YN, we go see Ketut on the trip. We will go for a seafood dinner in Jimbaran Bay. This picture is one of my favorites. There are these cover bands, and they just play Balinese, not Balinese music, they play American music. I've heard Eric Clapton, I've heard Van Morrison, and they're delightful. They'll have like an upright bass, and they plant the upright bass right in the sand, and then they'll have these drums and guitars, and they're all barefoot, and they're singing in like 5-part harmony, and they always sing Hotel California, and I always get to sing backup. It's very exciting for me. But the funniest thing is they don't know all the words. Like, they've taught themselves the lyrics by Braille, if you will. So the choruses are always perfect, but the verses, but they're spot on with the tunes, and it really is just such a pleasure to get to experience them. So it's delightful. It's my favorite part of the evening. And here is some of the seafood that we get to have when we're in Jimbaran Bay. This is Balinese lobster and shrimp, and of course we have food for vegetarians at every meal if you need it. Bali is one of those gorgeous places where there's so much fresh vegetables, and half of everybody is vegetarian anyway. So if you're vegetarian, don't worry about it. If you like meat, don't worry about it. If you like seafood, we've got all bases covered, and Balinese food is very fresh. For people who aren't into spices, you can have it not spicy. For people who are into spices, they have spices that are just off the charts. Something called sambal that will just like take the top of your head off, and it's just such a beautiful experience with the food. Everything's just really fresh. Now here's the shopgrimage part of our pilgrimage. This is a picture outside of the Ayu Mas painting studio. Now, Ayu Mas is a little village where so many of the different styles of Balinese paintings come from. And we visit this place. This is a picture of one of the rooms inside of the studio, but it just goes on and on and on. It's like a museum, and we've known the owner a really long time, and he's just so delightful, and we've negotiated discounts for everybody at these places, and you're buying directly from the artist. This picture, for example, is of an artist painting, his actual, you know, a painting that he's been working on. This particular one is of the Balinese style, the most intricate Balinese style, and it's just stunning. But he'll be working on this painting for a year, and you'll get to meet him and see when he has the paintings that he's made for you, and then you get to take them home, and it's just such a beautiful experience. And this is the Wood Carvers. This is another place that we go to, and they have just the most gorgeous, gorgeous pieces. This is a piece that is made from sandalwood. It's hand carved, and it will actually fit into your hand. So they have pieces that are $5 that are really little, and they have pieces that are hundreds or even thousands of dollars that are enormous, and it's just beautiful. And as you can see from this picture, you get to experience, again, the carving as well. You get to see them carving, you get to learn the different types of wood, and then you get to buy directly from the artists, which we just find is so wonderful. And also the prices are terrific. We go to the Ubud market. If you saw the movie Eat, Pray, Love, you saw the pictures of the market, and we can buy these gorgeous sarongs, silk dresses for $20. It's just fabulous. And then we can go and see batik being made. This is a woman actually looming the fabric, and then we see the batik being created, and they show us how the process works. And this is Greg with our guide Yenta, and it's just a great experience. And then this is an example of one of the batik stores that we go to. Just gorgeous handicrafts everywhere. And I don't have a picture of the place, but I do have my beautiful silver flower of life necklace. And we see a silversmith in the silver area of Ubud, where all of the silversmiths work. And we found this person at a temple because he recognized the flower of life that Greg was wearing, and he said, I make those in silver. And Greg said, give me your card. And so we've become, again, dear friends with these people. They're just wonderful. And you actually can, if you're home, you can buy the flower of life right from our website now. We do sell them on spiritquestworld.com if you can't get to Bali, but if you can go and buy one for yourself, and they're really just gorgeous. They come in 3 different sizes, and now they sell bracelets that they designed because we gave them the bracelets to design, and they're just beautiful. This is one of the hotels that we're going to be staying at, the Pertiwi, which is again in Monkey Forest Road. Now these are pictures of the pool villa. So we have 2 versions for this trip, the pool villa or the deluxe room, and you can get online to see the pricing, but the pool villa and the deluxe rooms are both available, and it's a private pool villa if you choose to get that. And in both cases, the rooms are really beautiful. And then here are some pictures of the other hotel we stay in for the extension. And if you're on the extension, we're going to be at the Nusa Dua, which is a 5-star resort down at the beach. They have their own spa, they have gorgeous pool with underwater speakers, and they have 6 restaurants on site. If you're staying with us for the main part of the trip, the Pertiwi is a little, it's like a 4-star room as far as the quality goes, but then we're out in Ubud. We're right in the heart of everything. We used to stay at a beautiful place, and we have on other trips stayed at a gorgeous place, but it's very far out in the rice field. So right now what we've discovered is that everybody really enjoys the experience of being out in the center of Ubud. And across the street, like, there's this place called the Buddha Bar, and we go for happy hour every night, and then we can walk to our welcome dinner. We can walk to the Monkey Forest. It's just a great location, lots of shops, and you're just really right in the heart of Ubud. But Ubud is more of a small town, so there's still that small town feel, which is just terrific. Now the Balinese, as we said, every day is a special ceremony. So this is a picture of all of the Balinese women in their gorgeous temple dress with these huge high offering baskets of fruit and money and flowers, and they're all going to the temples at once. And this is a picture of the temple offerings, the flower offerings that are made, a much smaller scale, but this is from Gulingen, so we'll visit Gulingen and we'll actually see the offerings be made. And then this is typical of the types of offerings that we get in our own baskets when we do our ceremony, and we get the flowers and put them behind our ear, and then we get the rice. So this is where they would come out of, is these beautiful little hand-woven baskets. Now, one of the other things that's so important to the Balinese is the cremation ceremonies, and you'll learn more about this when you're in Bali, but the cremation ceremonies are the end of this big process. So when someone dies, their bones are often buried, and their bodies are buried, their bones are then dug up, then their bones are cremated, and people will save for years to be able to afford the cremation ceremony. And then they go down to Sanur, which is a special beach designed for cremation, and they scatter the ashes. And then the ancestors go home to live in the family compound. So it's this really long process that literally can take years. And this is an example, this picture is an example, if you can see on the left side, at the bottom of the big conflagration of flames, you can see these two figures of a bull, and these are wooden bulls that are being burned. So it's just the whole village will participate in the cremation ceremony, and often many people will be cremated at the same time, or sometimes it's just on an individual basis. But it's a very big part of the Balinese lifestyle, and our buses will stop, and there will be like a parade of an entire village through on their way to a cremation ceremony. It's really beautiful. Now this is another ceremony that the Balinese do. They do tooth filing, and this woman, imagine going to your dentist in the same outfit you would wear to your wedding. That's basically what you've got here. This woman is lying on her back, and this man is filing down her canine teeth. So they're filed down straight, and that is supposed to remove the impurities from your body and remove the desire for sin from your body. And it's really a beautiful ceremony that I absolutely do not want to participate in. We will not have to see a tooth filing ceremony, but just so you know some of the beautiful cultural experiences that the Balinese have. One of my favorite things that we do, and sometimes we do it as main part of the trip, and I believe this time we're going to be doing it on the main part of the trip, is we go to Turta Empul. And this is one of the signs outside of Turta Empul, and I just love it. So there's a close-up. I'm going to read the sign out loud. Those who are not allowed to enter the temple are ladies who are pregnant, ladies whose children have not got the first teeth, children whose first teeth have not fallen out yet, ladies during their period, devotees getting impure due to death, mad ladies and gentlemen. So if you're mad, you're not allowed to go into the temple, which means you have to not be very mad, or else you wouldn't know that you were mad, and then you might go to the temple anyway. Those not properly dressed, again, that's why we put on the proper temple garb, and all devotees entering the temple should maintain cleanliness and environmental conservation. Isn't that wonderful? They're basically saying don't litter and clean up after yourself, but it's just so beautiful the way they say it. But I just love that sign. And so this is an example of the Balinese worshiping at a temple. And here is a picture of some of our guests. Now, all the people without the shirts are the Balinese, and all of the people in Turta Empul going under the waters wearing their temple garb are either Balinese women or us. So we're going to places that the tourists just really don't get to go, and this is a tremendously spiritual and beautiful experience for people. The water, the holy water from the side of the mountain rushes out of these different spouts, and you basically just daven. That's the word in Hebrew. I don't know or Yiddish. I don't know what the word is in English for it, but basically, you're just bowing your head under as the stream of water pours over your head, and people come out all loopy and happy, and it just is so shifting for them. It's just beautiful. We also visit Iwayan Ritug. He is the most important kris master in Bali, and this is an example of a kris, a Balinese short dagger. It looks lethal, and it is. It's a wavy dagger, and it's important that you have the right number of waves, and they have a special way of measuring it, so they explain all of that to us. And this is a picture of Iwayan Ritug's compound. So we get to go to Ketut's compound, and then as a special extra excursion, if you want, it's optional, we get to go see Iwayan Ritug's compound, and it's really powerful. So here is an example of another extracurricular activity that is just a huge favorite for people. And depending on who comes on this trip, depending on the age of everybody, after we close the trip out, we'll make this decision. But if we don't do it as part of the main trip, you will get to do it as an extracurricular excursion if you would like, an optional excursion, and that's whitewater rafting. And it's just such a blessing for people. And you can, if you like, as you go whitewater rafting, experience the tranquil Ayung River. It's just beautiful. I absolutely love it. You're just floating down and you're just having a really great time. But for those of you who are into adventure, you actually can also experience a major waterfall that just will pour water all over you to the point where you cannot imagine that you're ever going to get out from under it. So there is adventure if you would like to have adventure, but really the rapids are like 2-3 level is what they're called, and so they're fairly easy rapids. I had never been whitewater rafting before. I've been 3 times on the Ayung River, and it is just such a thrill. It's so wonderful. Another thing that you can do as an optional tour is you can experience the Balinese music and dance, the traditional Balinese music and dance, and these are the stories of the gods, and they act out different stories of the gods, and this is just some pictures of that. And then they also do the Kichak dance, and the Kichak dance is usually done for, you know, like the big closing number at one of the ceremonies, and you can see at the center of this picture the princess, and she is surrounded by 100 shirtless, testosterone Balinese men, and they're all making these like hoo, 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 hoo noises, and I know I sound like a gorilla when I do it, but I can't tell you, it's just so powerful seeing all of these men just undulating and making these sounds at the same time, and it's just a very powerful dance. So I really encourage you to when you come, to check out some of these experiences, because the Balinese, like they play gamelan, which is the Balinese music, and it's based on a 5-note scale instead of an 8-note scale. So to our ear it's very dissonant, but it's really just a completely different experience from what we're used to, and the Balinese dancing is like that as well. There are some special things that we do that are charitable contributions. One is we do carbon offsetting for you, and the second thing is we make donations to the Bali Children's Project, which is putting Balinese children through school. And another charity that we've done that we really love is Bali Dogs. There are a lot of stray dogs in Bali, and recently there's been this effort to clean that up, to give dogs shots against rabies and to get them sterilized so that it reduces the overpopulation. And so we help by making donations. We take up a collection while we're there, and it's just such a gift to give back to people. It really is. So for more information about the Eat, Pray, Love Tour to Bali, please visit spiritquesttours.com/eatpraylove5. Eat, Pray, Love, and then the number 5. And if you have enjoyed this evening, we hope that you will join us in Bali, and I will happily take questions now. I'm going to open up the phone lines, so if you're on the call right now and you have any questions, it's in Q&A mode, so you need to press *6 if you have a question, and you can unmute yourself. So Greg's going to check the chat, and if you're on live stream, you can just ask any question by chat, but I'm going to take phone line questions first because we just have to have somebody press *6 to unmute yourself. So press *6 anytime if you have a question, unmute yourself, and go ahead and ask your question. Anybody have any questions on the phone lines? Press *6. Don't be shy. Okay, so while we're waiting...
I have a question here.
Yes.
Somebody wants to know about visa requirements. Do they need to get a visa in advance?
Thank you. That's a great question. Do you need to have a visa in advance in order to travel? The answer is no. We will help you get your visas on arrival, but basically you just pick them up on the way in. Bali's very interesting. They want you to have a visa on the way in and on the way out. I have yet to figure out, what do you do if your visa's expiring, you have to leave, and you don't have the exit visa money? But obviously our people don't have to worry about that. So let's see, I believe that the total is around $45 for the visa in and out in combination. So once you're signed up for the trip, we'll email you what that amount is, make sure that it hasn't gone up since the last time we were in Bali, which was I guess last September. And the basic answer is you don't need to worry about it. You just need to bring a little bit of cash in US dollars. If you're watching this from Australia, and I know that we have a lot of people who are interested in coming, I'm just going to add that You'll get your own visa, or you can also get a visa on entry if you're coming from Australia or New Zealand. If you're coming from another country, you'll need to get a visa in advance through the local embassy, or you'll need to apply online for a visa. But it's very easy. We've had people come from a lot of different countries and no one's had a problem getting a visa. And for most of us, we're doing it right on arrival. So that's a great question. Thank you. So if you're joining us on the call and you have a question, you can press *6 and just start talking. As long as I'm not in the middle of answering another question, you're welcome to interrupt. Greg, do you have another chat question for us?
Somebody, well, it's another practicality question. Someone wants to know about, do they need shots or...
Yeah, that's a great question. So there isn't any malaria in Bali, so you don't need a malaria shot. We've had people get shots against malaria. We've had people get shots against the flu. What we like to say is this is a personal decision between you and your doctor. I've never gotten a single shot to go to Bali. Greg's never gotten a single shot to go to Bali. Neither of us have ever gotten sick in Bali. We haven't had any guests get sick in Bali except in reaction to the flu shots that they were getting. So it's really up to you. Everybody tends to have a little touch of Bali belly, as they're, you know what that is, as you're getting used to the food or getting used to the time differences or whatever. We have a special medicine that we hand out for that, so that's not anything to worry about either. And other than that, we really haven't had anybody need any medical attention at all in Bali. So I would say shots are not necessary, but of course that's a personal decision. And that's a great question. Thank you so much. Anybody else on chat, or if you're on the phone lines, please mute yourself out, or unmute yourself by pressing *6.
Somebody wants to know about how safe Bali is.
How safe Bali is. Yeah, we get that question a lot. There have been, I think there have been 3 bombings in Bali in the last decade. And other than that, Bali has been incredibly safe. We run statistics like you're like 60 times more likely to be the victim of a violent problem in the United States than you are traveling internationally. The problem that we've experienced is really about the way that the news reports things. Our experience in Bali, well, I know somebody who was living in Bali at the time of one of the bombings, and she marveled because the Balinese, it was actually not Balinese who did the bombings, it was people who had come over from a different part of Indonesia. And the Balinese people said, oh, our karma is out of alignment. And they had this massive day where they just all went into the temples and prayed to realign their karma so that that wouldn't happen again. And that was their reaction. And it's a very peaceful society. And our experiences as guests and the hundreds of people at this point that we've brought both on our Eat, Pray, Love and on our other Bali tours, we've had no problems whatsoever. No one has ever been robbed, no one has ever been accosted, and certainly no one has been the victim of any kind of a violent crime. And I know that we can't say that about ourselves here at home. So we consider it more than safe, and of course the testament to that is we're going with you. We're not just sending you off by yourself. We're going with you. We're leading the trip, as we have done several other times, and it's just been a great experience for everybody. So we hope that the media's approach to things will not deter you, because the experiences in Bali for everyone have just been blissful. Other chat questions?
Yeah, someone is wanting to know about, can they stay on the island longer?
Right. Can you stay on the island longer?
Yeah.
So the first thing I'll tell you is if you join the main part of the trip, and the dates are all on the website for our April trip, you're going to be going for 6 nights. And we already have an extension for 4 more nights, but your visa is good for 30 days. So you can actually stay longer if you would like, and we have absolutely no objection to that. In fact, we can help you make arrangements for the rest of your trip. We've had people who have gone over to Lombok, which is another island. They've gone to Gili, which is the island that Liz talks about in the book. We've had people go up to the north side of the island. What's that city called in the town on the north side of the island? Begins with an L. Like Lili or something like that. Okay, Greg's drawing a blank too. So anyway, the north side of the island is really not inhabited with a lot of tourist stuff at all. You can stay in private villas right on the beach. So a lot of people have gone there. We've even had some people go to Kuta, which is the most populous and most touristy and least spiritual part of Bali. We stay out of Kuta. But if you want to go, there are a bunch of different places that you can go and visit, and we absolutely encourage that and can help you with that. Has a chat person told us what our missing city
no,
is?
I just, my brain kicked in. Lavina.
Lavina, that's it. Greg's brain kicked in. Oh, isn't that lovely? Lavina is on the north side of the island. But we can help you with all of that. We had people come once who had arranged for a private villa with a chef up in Lavina, and they just had a great time. So wherever you want to go in Bali, we can help you, and you are welcome to stay on after for the extension or even longer. So let me just check the phone lines real quick. Sorry, just give me 1 second. So if you're on the phone lines right now, I've just unmuted everybody in case there are any questions. So I'm just going to ask real quick before we go back to chat questions. Is there anybody on the phone right now who would like to ask a question? Just go ahead and speak. You don't have to unmute yourself. Any questions from anybody on the phone line? Okay. Okay, so if you're on the phones now, you have to unmute yourself by pressing *6 if you have a question. But we'll go back to chat questions since those are coming in faster. Go ahead.
Let me see here. People want to know about flights.
About flights.
Yeah.
Anything specific?
Well, they're wondering about coming from New York. What are the flight options? What are the airlines that we recommend?
Okay, so I'm just going to give you just a brief Bali plane flight primer. Whether you're coming from any country, it doesn't matter. Let's see. I'm going to start outside of the United States because we do have guests that ask all the time, I'm coming from Australia, I'm coming from England, I'm coming from New Zealand, can I come on this trip? The price is just for the land package. Your airlines are excluded. And the reason for that is, yes, we want you to be able to come if you come from any country. So building in the cost of an air ticket didn't make any sense. You absolutely can come from anywhere, let's see, England, Australia, and New Zealand. A lot of people come in on Virgin or they come in on Qantas. Those are the two airlines that we see used most, but you can make arrangements with your own travel agent. If you are coming from the United States, we have a wonderful relationship with a terrific Virtuoso travel agency, and if anybody knows Virtuoso, they are one of the top travel providers in the world. The company that we work with is called We Said Go Travel, and they're terrific, and We Said Go Travel is happy to book your flight for you if you would like. They charge the standard agenting fee of $50, and they will book probably on Cathay Pacific or on Singapore Airlines. We have used interchangeably both Cathay and Singapore. We love both airlines, but it really depends on what you're looking for. If you're flying out of New York, Cathay will fly you through, I believe, Vancouver, and then on to what's Cathay's connection? Oh, onto Hong Kong. I'm sorry. If you're flying Singapore, usually if you're flying from New York, they'll make another stop somewhere and then again go on to Singapore. If you're flying on Cathay, and I'm just going to walk through Cathay real quick. If you're flying Cathay, it takes about 1 day to get there, including crossing over into the international date line. So you'd go like on day 1 and you'd arrive on day 2. If you're flying on Singapore, you go on day 1 and you arrive on day 3 because you'll have a longer layover. And so a lot of people can build in a Singapore layover so you could stay in Singapore. There's no reason that you couldn't do that in Hong Kong as well. And so that's an opportunity, like a little extra gift, to get to stay in one of these other cultures in Singapore or in Hong Kong and do a layover. Both airports, the Singapore airport is, the Hong Kong airport is beautiful. the Singapore airport is really unparalleled, one of the best airports in the world. So there's no reason to not have a layover there because they all have spas and orchid gardens at Singapore and Shanghai, and it's just amazing. So I definitely recommend Singapore and Cathay both, from either Los Angeles or from New York, and those are your two central hubs from the United States. Again, Qantas and Virgin, if you're coming from overseas, are both great. And we have people who fly all different airlines. China Airlines has been very popular because although it's not as high-end as Singapore or Cathay, it tends to be a little less expensive, and the flight times also tend to be shorter because they have shorter layovers and just better connection times. So it's kind of like carte blanche, whatever you want. If you call us, we'll give you the contact info for We Said Go Travel, and they'll book. Or once you put down a deposit, we are absolutely happy to help you with your flight, as far as you can send us an itinerary that you've gotten online, and we'll make sure you're coming in and leaving at the right times. And then if you come in with a group, and we get this question all the time, if you're coming in with a group, with the main group, which means if you're arriving with us, basically, the arrival and departure cost is built in. Otherwise, it's $35 a person, and it's a private airport transfer. And in either case, you're going to be picked up by a guide that speaks English, and you're going to be picked up by a driver, and it is a private airport transfer, $35 a person each way. So that probably answers somebody else's question, because I know that that's always a question that people have. So there's your primer for flights in and out of Bali. Yes, Greg?
Someone is asking, how far does money go in Bali, and would it be practical to bring back, like, furniture?
Ooh, that's a good question. How far does money go in Bali? Well, as we talked about at the beginning of the conference this evening, the exchange rate, I'm not sure what it is today, and actually maybe Greg could look that up for me, but usually between about 9,000 and 10,000 rupiah to the dollar. So that means $100 US, and in Australian dollars, I know that Australian dollars and Canadian dollars are about on par with American dollars right now, so it's going to be about the same for all of us. It's about $100 gets you about 1 million rupiah, or 900,000 rupiah. You can buy food very cheaply in Bali. Some of the meals are going to be included anyway, like breakfast is included every day, and usually lunch or dinner is included every day because we're out traveling, and so we're all out together. But for example, we'll go to our second Italian meal is at Pizza Bagus, where they have a margherita pizza that is almost as good as the margherita pizza that Liz Gilbert eats in Napoli. So you'll have pizza, you'll have a salad, you'll have a beer, and it'll be around $10. So that's the kind of pricing that you can get. And our most expensive restaurants that we go to, you might spend $30 on a meal, including drinks. And as I said, there's a welcome dinner included, there's a farewell dinner included, lunch is included several days, and breakfast is included every day. So I would say your spending money is going to go pretty far in Bali. Now, to address the question of the person who was asking about furniture, we do have a relationship with a wonderful company that will do shipping, container shipping from Bali to you. But of course, it's going to depend on how much you can afford for the shipping, and I can't tell you how much it is because I don't know the size of the furniture. But of course, that gorgeous teak furniture that you see at Cost Plus or at Pier 1 or at Joseph Conrad or some of the higher end stores is coming directly from Bali. You can buy it much cheaper there, and then you absolutely can ship it back, and we can help you to arrange shipping. But we can't tell you how much that's going to cost or whether that's going to make it cheaper. But I assume that if you're buying it basically wholesale in Bali and you're shipping it back, it is still going to be cheaper. And again, everywhere we go, whether it's to buy the silk dresses that I'm wearing, the silver necklace that I'm wearing, or whether it's to buy some of the crafts. I don't know if you can see behind me the beautiful carved wall hanging, but everywhere we go, we're going directly to the artist, so the prices are really amazing. Greg, other chat questions?
Yeah, I got several here. Someone wanted to know, and I already wrote back to them via type, what has generally been the favorite part of the Bali trip for those who have already gone?
Okay, for people who have already gone, I always ask that question, and the basic answer is, I can't decide. I mean, I don't know what else to say. That's what people have said. Here are some favorites. Whitewater rafting is beautifully spiritual for people. We took a group one time, but it was a splinter group, and they came back and they said, you should make every single person do this part because it's the best. So that was whitewater rafting. Tur to M Pool, you saw those pictures earlier. Tur to M Pool, the place where we go, where we worship in the water with the water running over your head as you're making these affirmations. Oh my gosh, people love that. Going to Tanalot Temple by sunset, and not always, but usually we go off away from the tourists because there's tons of people worshiping at Tanalot, and we go up to the private part and we get blessed by the priest overlooking the cliff, and we bring things to be blessed, and so that's sometimes people's favorite part. I'm trying to think. I know there's other stuff that people have just raved over. Ketut is always a favorite. Wayan is a favorite. People just, they've wanted to meet them for so long that they're just so excited about it. So I would say those are the favorites. And then the other favorite is just relaxing in absolutely the most gorgeous surroundings you've ever been in your life. And for those of you who stay at pool villas, one of the big favorites is having your own plunge pool, because, you know, low humidity in Bali is 60%. High humidity in Bali is 100%. And we're somewhere between there, 60, 80% when we go. So you can come back from a day of being out and you just go right into your own pool, and then you go right back out again into the heart of Ubud. And oh my gosh, it's just such a gift for people. So that I would say is a definite favorite as well. I love these questions. Okay, more chat questions.
Okay, and we're right at an hour. So actually, I think this should probably be our last one.
We'll take questions until there aren't any, but it sounds like we're just timing out perfectly.
Somebody wants to know, they say they're planning on staying an extra week. Do we recommend that they stay at the same hotel?
Do we recommend that you stay at the same hotel? Okay, I can. Let me tell you the story that happened last time. Now, when we were in the Pertiwi, everybody had a really great time, and that would definitely be a great place to continue to stay at if you wanted to stay in Ubud, because as I said, it is so centrally located, and even we were there 6 nights and we still didn't get to explore the whole area. So it's just really a great experience. But there are tons of other places to stay at, either in Monkey Forest Road or, for example, to go out into the rice fields and to maybe stay at the Alila, which is a very just incredibly tranquil, spiritual place. It's almost a half an hour away from the heart of Ubud, but it's, you know, there's something to be said for that peace. But then my story is, so there were these 3 girls with us on the last trip, and they were dear, dear friends. In fact, they all 3 roomed together. And then when it was time for us to go to Nusa Dua, they were going off on their own. But they said, well, we'll come down to Nusa Dua for just 1 night. And we said, okay. We were there for 4 nights. You know, this gorgeous 5-star resort right on the beach, 6 restaurants, a spa, another spa across the street, gorgeous shopping all over the place. The beach is right there. And they said, we'll just stay 1 night. And I said, okay. And so we made arrangements for them. And the next morning at breakfast, they called me and they said, we want to stay another night. And I said, okay. And then where are you going? Well, we're going to go to Kuta, and we're going to stay there for 2 nights. Okay. The next day they called me that we want to stay another night. Basically, they never left because the Nusa Dua was just so fabulous. So it really just depends on your budget, and it depends on what kind of experience you want to have. But the hotels that we pick for a reason. And I would say the Pertiwi is just, they're so warm and friendly, and the location is just so perfect. And then the Nusa Dua, you're just right on the water. And so you probably will want to stay at those hotels, but you obviously have a lot of other stuff to choose from, and we can help you to make that decision. You don't have to make that decision by yourself. Okay, so this is your last chance if you're on the phone to ask any questions by pressing *6 and to unmute yourself. And while we're at it, somebody called me earlier. She said, I'm going to be on the call later, but I just have this one question. It says, make sure you get there by the 23rd, but that's the last date of the trip. So I apologize. We'll try to get that updated on the website tonight, but that's from an old trip, so I apologize. You're trying to get there on the 17th, which is the first day of the trip, and we'll help make arrangements for you to be able to do that. So if you're going to book your flight, just please don't book it yet. Send us the itinerary or call us. We'll hook you up with We Said Go Travel. They'll take care of everything for you, and we'll make sure that you arrive and leave on the correct days for whether you're staying on the extension or whether you're just coming for the 6 nights. Okay, so I'm not hearing anybody unmute themselves. Last chance. Press *6 to unmute yourself. Okay, so we'll continue. Are there any more chat questions?
No, I think
no. Okay, we answered all the questions and we only went over by a few minutes. Well, thank you all so much. If you joined us on live stream tonight, you can catch a replay of this as soon as it's finished, or in about an hour, I guess, as soon as Greg gets it up, and on the site, on the channel. And if you have joined us on the phone, again, you can go to Facebook, and there will be a link from Spirit Quest Tours fan page. I certainly hope if you're on this call you're already a fan, but if you're not, just click like, and then you can see our wall, and you can go to on the Facebook stream, on the fan page, you can click a YouTube link. Greg will get that uploaded by tomorrow morning. And if you're on live stream, again, it's livestream.com/Spirit Quest. That's our channel, and so you can see that live, the repeat of this live video in just a little bit. So thank you all so much. Your questions were wonderful. As I said at the beginning, in case you missed it, I'm Halle Eavelyn. I'm the co-founder of Spirit Quest Tours. I will be your tour leader in Bali. It will be my great pleasure to have you with us in Bali. Now, if you're going to be signing up, please make sure you get your deposits in. Your deposit is $300, and that needs to be in by the 17th of February, 60 days in advance of the trip. And then we can work out payment arrangements with you for the rest of the trip so that you're paid in full before we go. All right, thank you so much, and have a great night. SpiritQuestTours.com/eat, pray, love, and the number 5. Good night.